Hi everyone.
Good
Uh,
afternoon.
this has been long due. Me and Soham wanted to start a channel where we can talk about our cricketing opinions, which is worth $1 million. So this is the start, and our first topic of discussion is IPL retentions. Uh, so we'll go about talking about the what the rules of the retentions are and what options can the various teams choose. So yeah, Soham, what are your thoughts on firstly on starting this podcast?
This podcast has been long in the making. बहुत टाइम से चल रहा है कि अभी करेंगे कभी करेंगे बट फाइनली हम रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं सो कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस टू अस फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एंड we are starting this unnamed podcast on 19th October 2019 which is 11 months after starting off on an auspicious note. So
KL Rahul has just got out, by the
अभी
way.
अभी तो
Well, the
जडेजा
team
आउट
needed
हुआ
him the most again on a 19th of a month, so some things never change.
हम्म,
So, yes, let's start with our discussion on the IPL retention. So, how do you want to go about the rules once?
okay, so just starting off with the basic rules for retention. Every team has a purse of 120 crore rupees. जिसमें से they are allowed a maximum of six retentions, of which five can be capped, and there is no limit on any international or domestic retentions. The teams can retain as many
Welcome
domestic
change.
or domestic players they want. And it is you either and you can use the six slots in any combination of retention on RTM. So if you use up all your slot for retaining, then you have no RTMs left. But if you retain three players, then you get three RTMs. So that is how it goes. And the pricing structure for this retention is also an interesting one. So the first retention will be at 18, the second at 14, third at 11. Then the fourth will again be at 18 and the fifth will be at 14. And uncapped
Okay.
players would be retained at 4 CR.
And
And
a beautiful rule has been brought back for a person who shall remain unnamed.
hmm,
That uncapped, if you haven't played international cricket for 5 years, you can also
hmm,
retain a player in the uncapped category. What that basically means is you can retain him for 4 crores instead
hmm.
of paying him 16. And this has not been done for a person in particular. It's a very vague
And
rule
yeah,
that BCCI thought it's important to
I,
implement.
I see many more teams apart from one unnamed franchise also benefiting from this rule. So,
They could have
mm,
kept it foreigners as well if they wanted people to make the most of that rule. So KKR could have
I
retained
mean,
Sunil Narayan for 4 crores effectively. But they've
mm,
only kept this for Indians, which is a loophole that teams would exploit. The only team that I can see making a benefit out of this is basically Rajasthan with Sandeep Sharma,
mm,
Gujarat with
Mohit
Mohit
Sharma.
Sharma, and this one Mumbai Indians with Piyush Chawla. But again,
Mm,
I don't think they would have fetched more than 4 crores in the auction either ways. Sandeep Sharma was unsold last auctions. Piyush Chawla was bought for on his base price at 2 crores.
mm.
So yeah, that's how
So
it is.
about, yeah, I don't see Piyush Chawla going for more than four, but you never know with Sandeep Sharma and Mohit Sharma, all these guys, after the season that they had last year, it could be possible that they could go for more, and the auction is
Both
lot
of them
more
had a
than
very good IPL 2023,
and
but
20.
not so much of IPL 2024. Mohit
They
Sharma,
had.
in fact, I was considering him for the World Cup squad instead of Siraj, but then
Hmm.
he got battered in a game for 70 runs in one match. I don't remember which team that was against, but
I
that
think
happened.
a lot of people got hit for a lot of runs this season, so I wouldn't hold
Yeah,
one match against him. But ठीक है, if we can start with the teams one by one.
yes.
So yeah, we were
Starting
basically
with the
going.
defending champions would be ideal.
Okay, yeah. So just to give a background, we would just be talking about what we think, in our opinion, the ideal retention for all the 10 teams would be. And then, unfortunately, Sunrisers Hyderabad has already dropped the bomb about three of their retentions. So,
That's not confirmed unless and until it comes from the franchise.
hmm,
Nothing is official yet. It's been through ESPN Cricket Info, so it's still fine.
but
Um,
to be fair, the same news about Hardik's transfer was also covered by all these news outlets way before it
Hardik
was
transfer.
actually announced. Well, long before it was actually announced, so we never know.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, and we are going to be grading ourselves on how many we get right. Once,
Yeah.
and we will have
So,
another episode after all the retentions are announced.
so the retentions are to be announced officially by the franchises on the 31st. So
Yes,
let's see. Let's come on a live after that to see how accurate we were.
the winner gets nothing, and as he said, we can just start with the defending champions.
Yes. That means
KK.
Mumbai Indians will come last in our discussions. So,
No
yes,
personal
you want to
biases.
start with KKR?
Okay, I'll go first. So I had selected four players to be retained, and one of them I feel is, I think it might be a bit of a surprise. So first, I guess the first retention they have to go with Shreyas Iyer. Whether he is worth 18 or not is still doubtful, but you would ideally want to retain your captain for the top draw. Then I've gone for 14 for Rinku. I think he deserves the 14 crores
Yeah.
and he will easily get more than that in the auction if he were to go. And this one I'm still dicey, but I've just gone on the basis of the track record. I've also retained Rana for 11 crores. And then I would try and see if I want and then I have used up my 4 crores as an uncapped retention for Ramandeep Singh, because I think he is very much, and he has been doing good in all the domestic tournaments. And I think he hasn't been getting a lot of chances, even in the MI setup, he didn't get a lot of chances. But yeah, and then for the two RTMs, I have put jotted down. So this is four players that I'm retaining, and the two RTMs I have put down Russell and Narayan. They can go for with an RTM, or they even have Varun Chakravarti, who has been doing well recently. I had not initially put him down, but then now considering how he has done in the T20Is as well, they might want to look at him. Yeah, so
So Nitish Rana is a capped player, by the way. He has
yeah,
played
he
a
comes for
T20
11.
international.
He would come for 11, but no, yeah,
Okay. So
the worth 11 is
in no
something else.
particular order, my
Hmm.
retentions for KKR would be Shreyas Iyer, like you said. Now I
Hmm.
don't know if he deserves the 18 crores, but I think he will go for that much because he's the captain of the franchise.
Hmm.
And he also won them the IPL and he has had a good record as a captain in IPL. Rinku Singh, same 14 crores. That would be my
Hmm.
second retention as well. Nareen, I would retain rather. I don't think I would go
Okay.
for an RTM because he still offers, he has the skills still. That not, I mean, he was accused of chucking last season as well by Ashwin, which is a very weird thing. But yeah, he's still unplayable. He's doing good in CPL, etc. as well. Um, Russell, now it's a complication because you've retained 18, 14, and 11 for Shreyas, Rinku, and Nareen. So
Hmm.
the fourth player, if you have to retain Andre Russell, you'll have to retain him at 18. That's how the rule goes. So maybe I'll use the RTM card for Andre Russell, or I would rather use it again for Varun Chakravarti and not retain Ramandeep Singh at all because I don't think he has shown it that much on the scale that he belongs there. He's a gun fielder, no doubt, but he did squander his opportunities whenever he was presented. So my five players wouldn't include Nitish Rana. but would include Varun Chakravarti instead of Nitish Rana. Others being the same as you.
Okay. And then now just to think about a notable omissions that we haven't considered. None of us have considered Venkatesh Iyer to be retained, and more so prominent would be Mitchell Stark. We are not considering Mitchell Stark to be retained because I'm
It's
quite sure that he would fetch a lower price in the auction.
exactly. Plus, his T20 forms has been on a decline, and Rohit took him to the cleaners last World T20,
Yeah,
as was seen.
unfortunately, the world does not around revolve around Rohit hitting bowlers, but
It doesn't, but his form in particular, he's a very predictable bowler in T20s, as he did bowl well for them in the finals last year, removing Head and Rahul Tripathi, but still, I feel certainly he's not amongst the five retentions for sure. He can go for a much lower cost. In mini auctions, usually these overseas bowlers would get paid a lot more than they would at a mega auction. So that's
just,
about it.
just another rule that
Venkatesh
we,
Iyer, I
yeah,
don't think he
yeah,
is
yeah.
in the contention anymore.
Hmm,
He did have a good season last year though, but
hmm.
I think the other players are above him in the pecking order.
Another rule that we skipped over about the auctions is that now if any overseas player decides to skip the mega auction, then he cannot directly enroll for a mini auction that is preceding. Because of what a lot of these overseas players, their managers would do is that they would uh, skip out on the mega auctions on purpose, knowing that they would grab a bigger
They would
paycheck
fetch
in the
more.
mini auction. So that is also another thing, and I feel like that might also work against Stark because the upcoming years they have the Champions Trophy, they have the Ashes, they have the Test series against India. So I'm not sure if their cricket board would also release him for that much period of time to play the IPL.
Hmm.
Or so in an ideal scenario, it would seem like he would just skip this year's IPL and then he would have come into the 2026 auction. But now, if he decides to skip out on this auction, then he has to sit out the next one as well. So it will be interesting to see that as well.
Brilliant rule.
Hmm.
It's an amazing rule. A lot of players were taking advantage of this. And yeah, it's good that the BCCI finally got brains after getting exploited for all these years.
True, true. Agreed. Now,
Okay, then let's move on to the next team.
the runner-ups of the this year's IPL, the SRH.
So, so they have already announced through verified sources what their retentions is going to look like.
Hmm,
They have decided to retain Henrik Klassen as their first choice, which and
hmm,
being paid approximately 23 crores,
correct.
which is a little shocking to be honest, because Pat Cummins got around 20 last year,
Hmm,
and he was the captain, and he's also the World Cup winning captain.
hmm, hmm.
And Travis Head, he's also there in the team. So Travis Head, Pat Cummins,
Abhishek Sharma.
uh, Abhishek Sharma, and Henrik Lassen. These were the four retentions.
I I
Yeah,
don't. They did announce Klassen, Cummins, and Abhishek Sharma. They didn't announce the other guy that you were talking about.
Travis Head.
No, I don't think they announced Travis yet. They just announced Klassen, Cummins, and Abhishek Sharma.
I thought they announced Head as well.
Okay, I mean, anyways, whether they announced it or not, it's quite obvious that they would want to keep him back. Whether and most of this also revolves around the ongoing discussions with the players. So they might
Yeah.
definitely want to retain him, but then it is still a discussion they
Nitish
want to have.
Kumar Reddy and Travis Head are expected to be the RTMs for them,
Hmm.
and these three are supposed to be their retentions.
Yeah.
Cummins, Klassen, and Abhishek
Hmm.
Sharma, which is a good choice,
Hmm.
I
And
feel.
Apparently, through other sources, it is so that Pat Cummins was quite adamant on having Klassen as the top retention. So he was the one who actually wanted Klassen to be the top retention. How, what truth that does that hold, we are not sure, but
Yeah,
interesting nonetheless. So I guess we had made our list before this announcement was made. And what I had jotted down to be my retentions, I had put down Cummins at 18, I had put down Abhishek Sharma at 14, Nitish Reddy at 11, Klassen at 18, Washington Sundar at 14, and Abdul Samad for 4.
Abdul Samad and Umran Malik, both of them are certainly out of the reckoning these days. Even for SRH, they hadn't played that much last season.
Yeah.
And with Nitish Kumar ready, I mean, if you think about it, Hyderabad could have retained him for 4 crores had he been sick or had a viral
And
infection.
yes, true.
But now it's going to cost them 7 crores more.
Hmm.
But he did play surprisingly well against Bangladesh in that one innings. So he has the potential, and we need good all rounders.
Hmm.
Now, only Hardik Pandya is the good pace bowling all rounder that we have. So
Hmm.
it's good to have some competition, I guess.
I don't I don't doubt that SRH would be hesitant on even retaining him for 11 crores for that matter. Nitish Reddy.
Maybe use an RTM card for him. Um, I don't think yes he's coming up. Yeah, but the thing is because he's such a rare commodity, he might fetch numbers close to that in the auction.
Yeah,
But
hmm,
he's still unproved. He's only played one season of the IPL and three T20 internationals, out of which he got out for a duck in two. So I don't know if he'll fetch that much. Maybe use the RTM card for Nitish would be the better, wiser option in my opinion.
possible.
And
Washington
my
Sundar.
retention order,
Yeah, yeah.
like before they had announced, this would have been Pat Cummins at 18, Travis Head for 14, Henrik Klassen at 11, and then use the RTM cards on Abhishek Sharma and Nitish Kumar,
Shit, I
which,
totally forgot Travis Head, right? I would have him over Washington Sundar for 14, honestly. I don't know what I thought
yeah,
about while
Washington
making, yeah.
Sundar these days his batting is not that great.
लो बजट स्ट्रीम गाइस हम लोग के पास प्रीमियम सब्सक्रिप्शन वगैरह कुछ नहीं है तो 40 मिनट के बाद कट हो गया बट नाउ वी गो अगेन
Yeah. So we were discussing how Soham forgot to retain Travis Head. Instead, he retained Washington Sundar. And he would certainly not be amongst my top five retentions for Hyderabad. I think they can get a better off spinner or maybe buy him back in the auction.
I am
But
trying
yeah,
to stay true to the management of SRH because I am trying to emulate the blunders that Kavya Maran and the others at SRH would do. That is why मैंने जानबूझ के वॉशिंगटन सुंदर को retain किया over Travis Head. It was
but
not an error.
that effectively also means Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who's been like their leader for all these years,
Hmm.
does not find a place in Hyderabad
Yeah.
going into the next season.
When did he last represent India?
Yeah, I mean,
I
like, he's
do,
out of reckoning certainly, but he's
but
still a good.
then I asked because if it, I don't think it is that long enough that he can be retained as an uncapped player.
No, no, no. Acha, that way, no, no. That way, he represented India in 2023 in Jan, last time that he played for us. But I still feel he's good enough for the IPL. If Sandeep Sharma gets to play, Bhuvneshwar
True,
and
true.
Sandeep, I feel are very rare bowlers that we have who
Hmm.
can swing the ball. Even Deepak Chahar for that matter, but
Hmm.
he continues to remain injured 90% of the time.
So,
And
Yeah, yeah. Bhuvi last played for India in November of 2022.
he did
So
play in
that's
Jan. I just saw his highlights yesterday. Oh yeah, that was the New Zealand series you're talking about.
hmm,
That he last played for India. Yes, yes, that was in November 22.
still below the 4 year limit. So
Yeah,
anyways, I mean, they can just buy him back in the auction, honestly, because 11 crores, would you retain Bhuvneshwar Kumar for an 11 crores?
Maybe.
Or, or maybe they can negotiate. I, I, I mean, this seems like a very a very unlikely scenario. But since they are giving that extra 5 crore to Klassen, would you negotiate a lower and give
But
a
why
pay cut to
have they
Bhuvneshwar
moved
Kumar?
above the limits that were set?
So,
If
that,
18
yeah,
crores is
yeah.
what you can give to the top player, if you give
That,
23 to him, that effectively means all others take a pay cut.
no, that is not. So you can actually now giving 23 to him, they have gone above them. So the extra 5 crores would be cut from their purse, and they can still retain the others in the auction in the same price band. So it is just more so like a guideline from the BCCI that 18, 14, 11 the rankings, but it is still very much up to the franchises what they want to do. So another
Fair enough.
thing that might happen because of this call is now other players who might not have been aware that such a thing could be possible. Now they might be negotiating a figure higher than 18 crores with their franchises, who might
So
not have
let's see
thought that
how
it
this
was possible.
goes.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, it is kind of path breaking. Now we'll see how the players and the management go about it. Going to be an interesting few weeks.
Yeah, so it will be. So next on our list is Rajasthan Royals.
Sure.
I think they finished. They were the semi-finalists, right? RR and RCB.
Yeah, yeah, quite possibly, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about RR first. We'll come to the jokes later. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah,
Mhm.
do you want to talk about your top five or what are your retentions for Rajasthan Royals?
For Rajasthan, unfortunately, my top return, or fortunately, I can't say unfortunately after how we just played against Bangladesh, but it would still be Sanju Samson. It would have to be him at the top at 18 crores. And then for 14, I had put down Josh Butler, but then it can easily even be Trent Bolt. He's certainly worth that amount. I would lean more towards Trent Bolt to be the 14 crore retention. And I've put down Jaiswal at 11. And I've retained Sandeep Sharma for 4. And then I would use my RTMs for Riyan Parag and Chahal.
Quite similar. But I had retained 18 at some Samson at 18, Butler at 14. I haven't kept Bolt in my picks. I feel he is going to come in the auctions because I this is something that I've read somewhere and through some sources that Bolt and Rashid Khan they
Hmm.
play for Mumbai across
And
the world, across all
yeah.
the leagues across
Hmm.
the world. So they have been
Hmm.
told by the management that you come in the auction and we'll buy you for no matter, we'll go for 20 crores for you because the core of Mumbai is settled.
Hmm.
They are going to retain six players certainly, and we'll come to
Hmm.
them.
Yeah.
And they need a overseas batsman and they need a bowler and a spinner. So if you get Bolt and Rashid, you are effectively sorted. You can build a team with 20 crores. You can just buy your standby players and go about your business. So I don't
So,
think Bolt would be keen to be retained.
hmm.
But yeah, I don't think Parag will be retained. He can go as an RTM for them. Jaiswal at 11, 14 for Butler, and yeah, the other Sandeep Sharma, they can retain him for 4 crores as an uncapped player. Yeah, I'm indifferent to that, but other than that, yeah, we have the same retentions.
And you're not going to retain Yuzvendra Chahal or RTM
Uh,
him,
yeah, RTM.
the
I
highest
don't think
wicket
I'm going
taker
to.
of the tournament.
Yeah, so teams would be requiring a leg spinner, and he's a great asset for Rajasthan. I don't think they'll let him go for sure.
Hmm.
So they'll keep him, but I don't think he fits in the retention slot. So he'll be used as the RTM card for them.
I guess we are more or less on the same line for Rajasthan. Now, since
Yeah.
we have put some thoughts out there about the MI franchise, I think it's a good segue to just flow over to MI. Even I've read similar things and heard similar things. I've read them mostly about Rashid, that the franchise is just ready to, I mean, they're in his ear to get him to sign up for the auctions, and then they would go somewhere in the vicinity of 20 crores to get him in that side, which I think is a fair price for him if you want to get Rashid. But yeah, this I guess Mumbai is the team that is going to have the most headaches with whom they want to retain, and even with respect to the price tag that what they would want to retain their players on.
It's a chaos basically. You have the
Hmm.
Indian captain or T20 captain playing for your team, but uh, with the fuckery you did, with the shithousery that you did last season, you removed the captain of the T20 World Cup and you put a captain. You appointed Hardik, who is now not even in the scheme of things to be the captain of India ever again. And Indian team has moved on to Surya Kumar Yadav. So it's again a tough decision that MI has to make as to who will be their captain. And according to that, they'll have to decide their retention slots. But in my opinion, that still is not a cause of concern because they can retain Rohit at 18, Surya at 14. Tilak Verma would be my third retention at 11. Bumrah at 18 again. So you're paying Bumrah, who is the best asset for any team in this IPL. You are giving him the respect he wants, he deserves. 18. And Hardik at 14 again. Now, would Hardik be willing to take a pay cut? You can interchange Hardik and Rohit respectively. Rohit can go at 14 as well. But I feel with the stature that Rohit has and the brand value that he brings to the team, he deserves to be the top retention. And uncapped players, may you can either have a Nehal Vadera and sort out your batting core, or go for a fast bowler in Akash Madwal or Anshul Kamboj. So these would be my six retentions for Mumbai Indians.
So I had I
And
yeah.
also, sorry to interrupt, in a way, they are, even though they have the most tough decisions to make, but they do not have to worry about any RTMs. They do not have to
Hmm.
worry about their half the core is settled.
Yeah.
They'll have six starting 11 players of their
Hmm.
team, and they just need to get a foreign opener, uh, which I feel they're going to go for Quinton de Kock again.
Hmm.
They can try to
Yeah.
get him back. And Mumbai has most often succeeded when they've had a foreign opener batting with Rohit at the top, which was Lendl Simmons earlier, then Quinton de Kock himself. And Bumrah, Hardik, and the uncapped bowler, if they go for them, 12 overs are sorted effectively. We need a good leg spinner and a good overseas pace bowler, which can be Fazal Farooqi. They can also go for Mitchell Stark. They can go for Trent Bolt. So their options are open. And yeah, I'm quite excited to see what happens.
This auction is going to be one where they can just wipe out everything that happened over the past 2 3 years and the blunders that they made with Jofra Archer, and
Ishan
they
Kishan.
get a yeah, they get a fresh start. And with even Mahela Jayawardene back at the helm, it seems like they might be the juggernaut may roll again soon. So my
But in my opinion, people are overestimating the return of Mahela Jayawardene. I mean, they forget the fact that he was the one who got in players like Vaisal Thampi, Temal Mills, and the mega auction that screwed everything up for them for the
with
last 3 years
Jofra
was his
Archer,
decision himself.
oh, yeah, I mean, the hindsight
And
is
then
but
I
then
don't think Mark Boucher did anything wrong except for the press conference before the preseason, where he straight up ignored the questions about Rohit being removed as a captain. That was the place where he messed up. There were a lot of tactical blunders that they made last season, captain and the coach. But I do feel he did a commendable job in the 2023 season, where despite having the most shittiest bowling lineup ever seen, we still qualified in the playoffs and finished third that year. So yeah, it's a mixed bag for Mark Boucher. I feel for him, but yeah, exit, shown the exit. I feel he's made the scapegoat though, more than
Possible. I
anything.
didn't think of it that way. Very much possible. So my five retentions were, I mean, I would have Hardik at 18, Surya at 14, Tilak at 11, Bumrah at 18, and Rohit at 14. Now, in my opinion,
Yeah,
does Rohit deserve 18? Yes, he does. But would he really be like कि नहीं मुझे 18 करोड़ वाला चाहिए? I don't think so. He would be quite happy to be retained at 14 as well.
yeah,
And my RTM would go for an Akash Madhwal. I would rather have a bowler because the other I have four solid Indian batters in Rohit, Tilak, Hardik, and Surya. And then I have a gun bowler in Bumrah. I would rather have another base covered in my bowling. Of course, it can be Madhwal or even Anshul Kamboj, but I would rather retain a bowler. It is very difficult to leave
but
out
it's
someone
very
like Nehal
difficult to
Vajra.
play two Indian pace bowlers at once. Last year, Akash Madhwal hardly got chances, despite having such a stellar season the
Hmm.
previous season. But he couldn't with Bumrah coming back. Akash Madhwal only played that season because Bumrah was injured. So if you take that into consideration, maybe we can have another Indian batsman which we would require. So either or options are open. Either you go for a batsman and strengthen your core, or you have a good backup bowler ready if you need.
I wouldn't look at him just as a backup bowler. I mean, he can surely be my starting 11. Yeah, I guess Mumbai is the one team that will be most bummed out about even six players to be retained. They would have liked to have even seven or eight. I guess they were one of the franchises who were gunning for the most number of retentions, and understandably. And then again, from both our ends, it is just bye bye for Ishan Kishan. We don't
Yeah,
want to retain him.
they went for him for 15 crores the year in 2022, and right now he's nowhere in the reckoning for
Hmm.
them. It's a strange thing. He's not even in the reckoning for India. So sad for him, I guess.
Yeah, they might still go for him in the auction. That is very much possible. I hope they
But if
don't
you're getting
overspend.
a foreign opener who also keeps, maybe they can also go for Phil Salt. We haven't considered him being retained by KKR. He
Hmm.
also had a very good year.
Hmm.
But if he's not retained by KKR, then Phil Salt also becomes a good option for Mumbai to consider. A foreign opener who can also keep
Hmm.
provide. Then they do not need to go for Ishan Kishan. So
Hmm. In
that
general,
is one
what
way to look at it.
historically I would think that MI has usually strayed away from the English players if you ignore Jofra Archer and Pimal Mills, but they have ideally wanted to have players from South Africa or New Zealand, the countries that usually West Indies, whose boards are way more lenient. And yeah, I mean, QDK would be the most ideal because he's not playing internationally for them for South Africa anymore. And even in the bowling, Trent Bolt would again be one of their tops because even he's opted out of a central contract.
Yeah,
Very much exciting to
and
see.
we have forgotten one very important player for Mumbai, Tim Dawood. Oh, sorry, Tim David.
Hmm. Yeah, I think
Where
the
does he
last,
fit in now?
I, I mean, even he's still a big part of MI franchises all over the globe, and they might still want to get him back. Am I personally keen on seeing him back? No, I am not. He can very much
Man
move
has
on.
given me so much trauma. He's full toss David.
Truly, uh, it was at one point it just got so frustrating. We don't know, but Maila Jayawardene he has good ties with him. Tim David was a part of the Southern Brave squad that Maila Jayawardene coaches in the 100. So maybe he might still have a bias towards him. We don't know what happened, but I don't think he will have that much of a demand in the auction from other teams as well. We might get him back for cheap.
Teams like RCB would go behind players like Tim David, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's yeah, he's certainly not in the considerations for
Hmm.
being retained by Mumbai. So yeah, we might see Mumbai buying him, buying Ishan Kishan back in the auction.
So
Let's see
that,
how it goes.
yeah. No, I
Let's
guess.
discuss the last team for today, and then maybe we can do another part where we discuss the other five teams.
Sure.
So, do we talk about RCB or do you want to leave some good jokes for next video?
Let's just talk about CSK, Shali, or let's just take one of the new franchises up. We'll take one for this episode and we'll leave
Fair.
another for the second part.
So now that KL Rahul was batting, let's talk about
Hmm.
Lucknow.
Yes, okay.
I read somewhere, by the way, that
Hmm.
Mumbai might try to buy Krunal Pandya back.
Yeah, I mean, has he done that
I do
horribly
not
to
want a
Mumbai?
brothers reunion.
Has he done too bad to not be taken back? I mean, it totally depends on what price you get him back at. For a reasonable price, I would think that
Suppose you get him under 10. Would you want Krunal Pandya back?
I would ideally look at him under five. I would not want to go over five. I would much
Yeah, I
rather
mean, he's not
reinvest.
in the reckoning for the Indian team. He
Hmm.
last played for India in 2021, and he's had
Uncapped,
few
almost
subpar
uncapped.
seasons. Yeah, and he's had a few below par seasons now with
Hmm.
Lucknow as well. Maybe the first year in 2022 he was decent, but
Hmm.
last two seasons he has not done any good. He will be even considered to be retained by Lucknow. So yeah, surely he's coming back in the auctions.
Hmm.
What would your picks be though for Lucknow?
I would have to retain my captain KL at 18, and my my retention at 14 would be QDK. Now, whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to go into an auction is a separate thing, but I would want, as a franchise, I would definitely want to retain him. I now, since even Mayank Yadav is capped, I would have him at 11. He could easily fetch that in the auction. Then again at 18, I would have Nicholas Puran. I guess that is a no-brainer. You would want to have him. And at 14, I have penciled in Stoinis. I still feel like he is worth a 14 crore price tag. And at 4, I would have Mohsin Khan, although he has had his struggles with injuries, but I still feel like he's a good pick at 4 crores. And yeah, I.
So KL Rahul, firstly, there was some debate about whether the owner shouted at him during a match, and all of that is conjecture. I don't think he shouted, and even if he did, it's fair enough. They bottled a fairly simple chase. Oh no, that's the game they got battered by Hyderabad, and their match was done within 10 overs, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, it's human emotions. I don't think the owner would personally leave him out just for one game.
Yeah.
But has KL done enough to be retained as the top choice? I don't think so. He is not the ideal T20 player for any team in the world. Uh, and there is no shortage of good batsmen in the country. I don't think he deserves 18 crores. I think Lucknow should personally move on from him. And it doesn't help the fact that they play in that shit stadium in Lucknow, which is not suitable for T20 cricket. And apparently, the owner thought it was wise enough to value that team at 7,000 crores. So
Oh.
the whole franchise is a joke, in my opinion. But they still have some other good players that they can go with. I would not keep KL Rahul. It's a disaster. They
So
certainly
you
need
are
a
just
captain.
going without him, completely without him.
Yeah, I am going without him. I would take
Okay.
a brave choice and just move on because yeah, maybe he has his game is suitable for ODIs, which I sound like an idiot while saying that because he costed us the World Cup. But if I keep that game aside, he I feel is a good ODI player, good for Test matches as well. but he lacks the composure. He has not done justice to his talent at all. Uh, he had so much potential,
He
and
has
if
dropped off.
he
He has dropped off.
if
He
he
used
just
to be good.
had some good mindset on how to make the most of, he's got so many chances. He's played for
Mm.
India since 2014 now in Test matches, but he's still yet to, all next Test match he might get dropped for Shubman Gill is going to come. So it's a weird. He's on a slippery slope, so to say. They might retain him at the end, but considering the lack of captaincy options that they have, but if it's me, I am not going to go with KL Rahul. I'm going to go for Nicholas Purin for sure. Mayank Yadav would be my second retention because fast bowlers in India are a rarity, and he is a gun proper fast bowler, and any team would be happy to have him. Third retention would be Ravi Bishnoi. Leg spinners are a rarity again, and and he's going to be the next leg spinner playing for Team India. So I don't see, and playing in Lucknow, I don't see it if they would leave him out. Krunal Pandya, they can think of retaining him because his batting is what disappoints me the most. He's a good left arm spinner, so they can keep him as an RTM maybe. Krunal Pandya. So my retention slots aren't fixed. But if I have to go with the in the order that I just discussed, I would give 18 to Nicholas Purin, 14 to maybe 40. So if we retain only three players, then how do the slots go? Like,
It would still be, I mean, they can negotiate any price individually with the player. But ideally, it would still be 18, 14, 11. But if they are good with their negotiations, then they can have the three of them at any prices.
all right, so Marcus Stoinis certainly, and I think foreign all-rounders they tend to go above 10, 14 crores every auction. So I think my second retention would be Marcus Stoinis at 14, 11 for Mayank Yadav, and I would retain Ravi Bishnoi as my fourth retention, and maybe Krunal Pandya can be the RTM card and do away with KL Rahul for good. Maybe he can be good at Bangalore. They need a captain. If Virat doesn't step up, and he's the local boy over there, so
Hmm.
he can do good in RCB maybe. I don't think they're gonna retain Faf. Let's keep this for the next episode. So we
We
have
don't
a
want
lot
to.
to talk about.
Yes. I was personally of the opinion that they can get Ravi Bishnoi in for a lower price than 11 in the auction. They can take that gamble with him. That is why I
See,
have not put him
Mumbai,
down as a retention.
Mumbai lost out on Rahul Chahar, and since then they've
Hmm.
struggled to find a decent leg spinner. Auction में you only have there are two three good options in the country. Varun Chakravarti being one, Chahal and Bishnoi,
Kuldeep
who are
Yadav.
and Kuldeep, but he's a certainty to be retained by
Yeah.
Delhi, so he's not going to come back. So that
Hmm.
leaves them with few options, and why would they
Hmm.
let go of a spinner in that shit deck?
Hmm.
That is my
New
logic.
new coach for Lucknow as well, Justin Langer. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, he's good. Second year for him in Lucknow. First year didn't do that well. They didn't qualify. And
No,
that was again, they bottled a 30 runs, 30
this is
ball
going
run
to be
chase
his
once.
first season, right? This is going to be. It was Gautam Gambhir. No, Gautam Gambhir was with KKR.
No, no, Gautam
Yes,
was with KKR last year.
Andy Flower was there last year at Lucknow.
No, no, it was Justin Langer for sure.
He just got
Just,
appointed this season.
Justin Langer was a
Let us fact check. Okay.
sure, why sure. It was Ricky Ponting now who's been moved to Punjab Kings.
Punjab, yes.
Delhi have appointed Hemang Badani, and yeah,
Langer was the head for the. He wasn't there in
Justin Langer.
2023.
Justin
He
Langer.
just, yeah, he just joined in
He joined in
2024.
2024.
Yeah, yeah. So from the next season onwards is when next season is going to be his first stint as an IPL coach, at least for Lucknow, because he was with the Australian team before that. So for that
No,
period of
so
time, he was
Gautam Gambhir was with Lucknow in
in 2020.
2023.
2022 he was.
Then he
Oh
moved to
yeah, 23.
KKR,
Yes.
and then Lucknow had a gap. They did not have a head coach, so they appointed Justin
They
Langer to
had
come
they
in.
had Andy Flower in 2024. Lucknow head coach 2024.
Sure. All right. I think we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
You guys can fact check
2024.
and
Okay. Wikipedia says Justin Langer.
because it was Justin Langer.
I don't know why. I thought it is the first time
Yeah.
he's getting appointed. I
Okay,
stand
guys.
corrected.
So I was correct firstly. These were our picks for the five teams that we discussed.
Mhm.
It would turn out to be a long video, so we've decided to make this into two parts.
Yeah.
Let us know your picks in the comments, and let's see how accurate all of us were when the retentions are announced on the 31st of October.
Let's see who
So,
gets more abuses in the comment section. That is another competition we are running.
sure. So, thank you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.